Hi guys. Welcome to week 2. You made it through the first week. You figured out the ins and out of Moodle. I'm very proud of you all. And this week I want to quickly review the self-reflection rubric. So last week I know it didn't make a lot of sense with the introduction, but it was our practice week. I wanted to get us all into the practice of using it, and 95% of you did it absolutely perfectly, and the few percent of you who didn't, I sent an email to explaining why. One, I have about 4 students in the class that when they cut and paste their rubric from their Word doc into iLearn, it doesn't work at all, and so those 4 students are going to just email me their discussion rubrics before Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. and I will just grade it from the email. Those are the only 4 students who I emailed specifically that I want to do that. Everybody else, it worked out perfectly. Please continue what you are doing. So let's review a student sample that I have. So here is one. This lovely student has highlighted the quality of content, the attitude towards participation, and the effort and input. And this is a content discussion, and this makes way more sentence for content, not an introduction. And this is our first week of content. So this week you'll see how the rubric actually makes more sense. So they're going to highlight what they did, and the student was honest. And here are, oh, it's a Glogster one, just kidding. So she put her initial response, the response that she did with her Glogster, and then she put her introduction and her 3 responses. Notice how it has her name, the date stamp, and the title, and the whole message that she put. And she was honest. I gave everybody a 10 who did the introduction because this rubric doesn't really work. As I said this week, when we move into taking sides, it makes much more sense. Then you will Control All, highlight, Control C, copy the entire thing and place it into your submission window. So this is what I mean by doing that. If you don't self-reflect on your discussion, you do not get a grade for your discussion comments. So you're going to want to make sure that you do this. Let's open up our course, which is here. So this week, on week 2, you're going to go to the discussion forum. Somebody's already made a post, which I'm going to talk about in a second. And then you're going to discuss all week. You're going to be in your small groups, which I'm going to also talk about in a second. And then when you're done with your discussions, you're going to open up the summary of week 2 discussion. You are going to hit your little submission button and cut and paste your rubric into there. To find your responses, I'm going to pick on someone randomly in the class. I like to go to participants, and then let's go to Stephen. You go to his activity reports, and then you go to complete report, and you can see what he or anybody else in the class has submitted and where they have submitted it to. I also put in this semester, and then you just copy and paste that whole box with the date stamped and the name, and then you get your responses. Put them into the document and then upload it there. I've noticed that when I have self-reflection and students are reflecting upon what they put into the discussion forums, I get a higher quality discussion forum, and I get to see all of your responses. And you can also, let's say you had a horrible week and you say, I just didn't understand the reading this week and da-da-da-da-da. You can give me a little note on that rubric explaining what went wrong. Or if you had an awesome week and you finally feel like the reading is clicking, please tell me. I would love to hear all of that stuff. So last week was good. If you did not sign up for the student leader discussion, you must do that. If you do not sign up for 2 discussions, you will lose out on 20 to 40 points, and the time slots are filling up. This week we have Brittany, Blake, David, Juliet, and Stephanie leading a discussion, and because they are our first discussion leaders, they will be graded very, very kindly. And I already have 1 student who's posted. If you go to this week's discussion forums, you're going to see who the group leaders are. You also are going to have the group leaders highlighted, and I've put you all into individual groups. So their groups are 6, and 1 group has 7. I try to keep the groups to like 5, but our numbers are really high because I added some people. So you're going to look on today, by tonight, by 11:55, these highlighted people should have their discussion question posted, and you will only be able to see the people in your group, and you will only be able to post with the people in your group. So the Jamestown Learning Experience, she has done a wonderful job, Miss Brittany. She has posted a question. She is explaining exactly what the outcomes of the discussion are. She's been very helpful by saying, don't forget to repost your summary reflections, and I can already tell Stephanie is going to lead a great discussion. So this is Stephanie. You, or if you're, I'm sorry, Brittany. Brittany, if you are in Brittany's group, you will simply reply to her questions and go. You will need to have 3 responses if you're a participant. Brittany is going to do her responses. So at the end of the week, she's going to do her self-reflection as well as the leader self-reflection, which I go back to my toolbar. Here's the student leader. This is where she'll submit at the end of the week how well she thinks she did on her discussion. So I'll give her 20 points for that. You'll do the one for the first one, and then when you lead your second discussion, you'll submit the student leader self-discussion there. I'm excited. This class is awesome. I read your intros this weekend, and we are ready to go. We have a wide variety of students, and that is wonderful. This week, I'm going to give you your joke. Why were the early days of history called the Dark Ages? Because there were so many nights. Ha 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 ha. A few of you have already answered this joke. I don't know how, since I haven't posted it yet, but that's okay. So there was your joke. What these choices, are a way to build community. This is going to be one of my extra credit options. Anytime I give you a question, a choice, or something that doesn't seem to be really related to content, it's going to be called a community builder. I'm going to start labeling them community builders. Community builders are a way to build community in our online classroom. What I would like you to do is I would like you to answer these and keep a little log. So at the end of the semester, if you say, oh, Laura, I participated in 8 community builders, I will give you anywhere from 5 to 10 points of extra credit depending on the level of your participation. This is just a way for us to get to know each other and make the online environment more personal, and a way for you to earn extra credit. So I will add in those community builders, and you just simply tell me what community builders you've done, and at the end of the semester you'll submit it to me in a document, and I will give you extra credit for being an active participant in our online learning environment. So those are the community builders. I'll do stupid things like jokes, and we'll get to know one another. I also have some other online stuff that you can do. So I've talked about leading a group discussion. I've graded your introductions from last week. We've explained how to do that. Taking sides is a tough read. I'm already over my 5 minutes, so I'm not going to go into taking sides because I have a lot of resources. I do have to tell you that reading taking sides is imperative for your college career. We need to learn how to read academic journal articles. Whether you are an engineering major, or whether you are in child development or AJ or cosmetology or teaching, or whatever your wonderful career might be, you need to learn how to read academic text. What I love about academic taking sides is it takes a really, really long journal article or a really, really long book and takes 6 pages of it, and it frames it around a yes and a no question. So one historian's going to argue yes, the other historian's going to argue no. And you get to practice with a really tough text in a non-threatening environment. We break it down. If you read these, reading text for one, reading taking sides, a weekly writing assignment that's graded, it helps you learn strategies to break it down. So please spend some time with these 3 links and when you're reading taking sides. Don't give up. Don't tell me it's boring. I know it's really boring, but hang in there. Do your best, because I promise you, you should be able to read these in 45 minutes by the end of the semester. There's only 6 that I've assigned, so really give it your best college shot. I promise you it'll pay dividends in the end, even if you don't see it right away. So you're going to participate. You're going to turn in an outline this week. If you don't have the book, you're going to unfortunately miss out on 10 points. Maybe you can borrow or make a friend with someone in your group. Taking sides outline, there's an explanation of how to do it. It links you to those links that I've told you about, and you're going to read Was the Settlement of the Jamestown a Fiasco? Taking Sides. This should be actually due Wednesday. I'm sorry, Wednesday by 11:55 p.m. I will switch that right away, and you will upload it before you start your discussions. Then after you've read the Taking a Sides assignment, you'll go to your groups and you'll participate in your group's discussions with the questions that your discussion leader has set. At the end of the week, you'll turn in your discussion grade self-assessment, and that's what I'll grade. I'll double check to make sure you're being honest about your forum responses. That's why I need the link in your document. But this just allows us to get on the same page, and I can help further your academics discussions along. You're going to have an easy week 2 primary source activity, and we are going to begin our paper. Our paper is a semester-long research paper, and I am determined to make you a good researcher and not a researcher who waits till the last week to do your assignment. I have a semester-long research project. I do not have any quizzes or tests. We have all assignments that are geared towards reading, history, and research, which is exactly what a historian does. So the first primary source assignment is going to be a paper on picking a topic, any topic in American history before Reconstruction, so around 1600 to 1863, that interests you. Pick a research topic or subject that interests you. It could be fashion, it could be women, it could be sports, it could be beer, it could be anything you want, but it needs to be a topic in early American history. If you are into cars, maybe you could look at horse races because we didn't have the automobile yet. If you are into child development, maybe you could look at family life in the 1600s or family life in the 1700s or family life in the Civil War. If you have a major that you know, find something in your major that you know and like. If you have a hobby or a passion, research that hobby or passion. What I need you to do is pick a research topic or subject for the semester that you are interested in researching. This is a broad subject. You don't have to narrow it down. It can change, but this is where we start thinking about history and what interests us in our topic. This is due Sunday 9/9 before 11:55. It's worth 20 points, and it needs to be 2 to 5 complete paragraphs. Don't be chintzy on me about your subject that you are interested in. If you know nothing about history, you could care. This class is you're taking it and you're tortured by it. Go to our free Hippo online textbook. Where's my Hippo? Oh, I didn't put my Hippo link. If you look at the syllabus, you'll have the, or actually, let's look at this week. If you haven't noticed that I have a lecture, and at the end of every lecture I have a to-do list. This is exactly what you need to do in this week, and then you'll see our Hippo Campus, which is our free online survey book. Open it up and play around with the chapters. Find a chapter that interests you, or just randomly pick something that you want to research. But research takes a semester long, and the wonderful thing about this is that we're going to do a little bit each week, and by the end of the semester I swear the paper will write itself. So I've talked about grading, I've talked about discussion leaders, taking sides, good discussions. I gave you my cheesy joke. We talked about community building. Office hours is our last thing. Office hours. Office hours are going to be held, I believe, on Tuesday. The first office hour that you come to, you will get extra credit points. Except for today. It's 9/4. It should start on 9/11. Anyways, 9/11 is our first office hour. And you will come to it, you will log on. Here's all the instructions. The instructions look scary. It's really not. You will call in this number, you will log on to this website, and you will see my computer screen. And you will also hear my voice over the phone, and we can talk. You can come anytime in this hour from 11 to 12. And you only have to stay for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour, whatever, and you can ask me questions or just introduce yourself. The first one that you come, you get 5 minutes. This is a way to add, again, personal contact in the online environment. You get 5 points of extra credit, I should say, personal contact in the online environment, and ask questions, especially about the research project, about reading, taking sides, about anything that strikes your fancy. Follow the toolbars to navigate the course. If you want to figure out your forum responses, I already did that. I'm repeating myself, so have a great week. I will get these messages down. The first 2 weeks, there's a lot to take in. See you next week.